Well, salutations, Stan the Fan Charles.
Greetings to you, Mr. Clark. It's that time of the week, picks time.
I would appreciate if you referred to me as the red hot Glenn Clark.
Uh, Greetings, Red Hot
That's
Glenn
right.
Clark.
That's right. Red hot, baby. As soon as we didn't have to worry about the Ravens, all of a sudden.
Yeah, it all comes together. Let me recap real quickly while you tell folks who we're brought to you by.
Yeah, we're brought to you by 1-800-GAMBLER and helpmygamblingproblem.org. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, then give them a call or send them a text at 1-800-GAMBLER or visit that website, helpmygamblingproblem.org, for free confidential services. And, of course, Stan, also brought to you by the Costas Inn.
That's right, where I was this afternoon for lunch with my cousin Ron Matz. He hadn't seen Pete for a long time, so we stopped in there for lunch. And you know what the best part was?
Did you get a pork chop?
No.
Oh.
Ron Matz picked up the check.
Oh, that is a good part of the trip.
And wait a minute, the mystery goes on because the waitress, Ashley, was there. And I said, Ashley, how long have you worked here? And she says, about since the first day we opened. And I said, good, you can answer the question. I said, have you ever had pork chops here? And she said, no.
Oh, boy.
No, we haven't. And you can't tell because it could have been a special, but I texted Ross the menu that showed where the pork chops aren't in the entrees. Where
this
they
is
are
former Orioles pitcher Ross Grimsley, who you
Grimsley.
say has experienced the pork chop at the Timonium location of the Costas Inn.
Right. So he texted me. I thought he'd say, well, oops, my mistake. He says, my friend came down from Baltimore last Monday. Out of nowhere, he said the pork chops we had in Timonium Costas Inn were the best I've ever had.
Wow.
I said, were we at the Costas when we had them? He said, yes. I guess they may have been a special that night. Anyway, wherever we had them, they were great.
Well, then.
But anyway, the debate goes on. But we're brought to you by both locations of the Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard, where they still serve hot steamed crabs. 410-477-1975 is the number, or the location in Timonium, as Glenn just said. Glenn, I'm going to recap what we done last week.
Please do.
We had no Raven game. So in lieu of that Raven game, we did something that I invented and Glenn concurred called the Parlay Twist. Glenn hit the Parlay Twist. He had the Eagles and the over, and he hit the Jets as his lock loser, and he hit the Lions as his lock winner. I had the twist all untwisted. I had the Bears and the under. Remember, I initially said over and changed.
I do remember.
Okay, the Bears and the over. So I only get one of those right. Now, the lock loser I had was the Los Angeles Chargers minus 1.5 versus Indy. Indy thrashed them. And I had New England minus 7 at Tennessee. Okay, and they Mike Vrabel got his revenge.
Exactly.
Anyway,
got his pound of flesh.
So how we're doing this is it's clearly noted that Glenn has an extra point. I made it that the Parlay Twist was a win.
Now,
he's 11-10, and I'm 10-11 because I went 2-1. He went 2-0, but I mean he went 3-0. And he has an extra point in abeyance. We're not going to do the Parlay Twist every week, but it will appear a few more times during the season to spice things up. Glenn, it's week 8. The Ravens are minus. The Ravens are minus 6.5, and the Bears come to town on a 4-game winning streak. All kinds of mystery shrouded on whether Lamar will play or not. First of all, do you think he'll play?
I hate that question, Stan. Do I think he'll play? I
don't think he's going to play. I think he plays in the Dolphin game.
Yeah. I'm torn. I think it's also possible that they're throwing a lot of subterfuge out there because
Yeah.
they know he's going to play, but they're just really trying to mess with the. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Still to this day.
Anyway, I think the spread, it's 6.5. We'll make our picks now. Ravens are 6.5 point favorites. I'm thumbs up or thumbs down.
All
Okay.
right. 3, 2, 1, and
Yeah, I'm a Bears guy this week. I don't get this spread, and I got to be honest with you. Even if Lamar played, if I knew he was playing, I think 6.5 is a little too dicey, given that the Ravens defense, unless Tony Saragusa came back from the grave, Rob Burnett were there, Peter Boulware, and a few others. I don't see how they're worthy of being a 6.5 point favorite.
So, look, there has been this theory that the moment the Ravens come back, that beware, watch out. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I'm betting the Ravens is because you're playing the percentage chance that Lamar Jackson doesn't play. Sorry, betting the Bears. Yes, betting against the Ravens. It's because you're playing the percentage chance that Lamar Jackson isn't playing, plus the percentage chance that even if he does, the defense is so bad that they only win by 4 or somehow lose the game. And so I think the combination of those percentages makes it the wiser bet. If Lamar plays, if he's
healthy, yeah.
If today you said definitively Lamar Jackson is playing on Sunday,
yeah,
I might be more inclined to pick the Ravens.
What have they done during the bye to fix that defense?
I understand. Well, they signed Carl Lawson today, who has never really been any good. So they've got that going.
That's a big help then.
Yep, very helpful.
All right, so we both like the Bears.
You had first pick? Who's your lock winner?
My lock winner is the red hot Indianapolis Colts. And I was idiotic and didn't write down who they're playing. Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm. They are
at home.
Big favorites in that game.
Yeah, I like you abhor huge spreads, but when I think what the score will be at the end of this game, it's hard for me not to see a thrashing for the Tennessee Titans now under the tutelage of Mike McCoy as the head coach. I'm loving the Indianapolis Colts again this week. They're a really good team.
They're a really good. They're a really good team. The number is 14.5. That's a tough number, but I get it. There's nothing to like about the Titans. There's always the question. Bettors will tell you don't bet a team the first week after a quarterback change or after a coaching change because you just don't know exactly what it is that you might get in those spots. I don't think it matters.
This is the second week.
Correct. Second week. I don't think it matters now. I think the Titans are just not good. So I get it.
So you agree with me?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been my pick just because of the number, but I
looked at the numbers and I said, you know what? I know it's a lot of points, but I was like envisioning at the end of that game. I find it hard to believe Tennessee's going to go into Indy, and I think the Colts, the mystery of them, not the mystery, the secret weapon is I think those players really liked Jimmy Irsay. I think there's a little of that going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's another theory, which is when you're only spending so much money on your quarterback, it does enable you to put a better roster around that quarterback. And if you can get a higher level of play out of a cheaper quarterback, that's sort of the inefficiency within the market. But
I wish I had thought of that. That's a good one.
And Jonathan Taylor's having an outstanding season. My God, he has been really a conversation about whether or not he should be an MVP conversation.
Glenn, who's your lock winner?
My lock winner for this week might surprise people. I'm going with a dog as my lock winner this week. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. A week removed from suffering a surprising defeat at the hands of Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals, they are 3-point dogs at home against the Green Bay Packers.
Why do you like them?
Mike Tomlin, in his career as a home underdog, 21-7-3 against the spread. He is a very profitable home underdog. Now, I get sometimes they had better teams, but this is also Aaron Rodgers versus the Packers. And while I think Aaron Rodgers might be limited at this point in his career, I do still think that he will have something a little bit special up his sleeve for
Kinda
this
like
game.
kind of like my Mike Vrabel pick last week.
A little bit like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Add in the fact that they had the extra 3 days and that they've been smarting over that performance and everything here. I also would say that the Packers, they have not overwhelmed, right? Like, this is a team that tied the Cowboys, a team that really just barely eked it out against the Cardinals last week.
Yep.
And yes, Micah Parsons did finally kind of come to life and have 3 sacks, but Aaron Rodgers is not going to hold on to the ball the way that Jacoby Brissett held on to the ball. So the Packers have not overwhelmed me, and that all combined is enough for me to say I don't even need to win the game. The Steelers don't have to win.
Yep.
There's some points to be played with here. Give me the Steelers as my lock winner.
All right. I've got my lock loser is the Cleveland Browns. I did a terrible job this week because I picked so early. Who are the Cleveland Browns?
They're playing the Patriots. They are 7
playing the Patriots.
Road
so I'm
dogs.
essentially going with the Patriots again. Cleveland Browns are at New England, and they're a 7-point dog. And I think, again, Mike Vrabel's got the Patriots playing at a level I didn't think possible this quickly. And Drake May's playing well, but that defense he's finally got, that's a playoff caliber defense right now for New England.
I love everything about what the Patriots are doing at the moment, and certainly there's not anything to like about the Browns, so I get it. I completely understand.
All right,
and then
your lock loser?
My lock loser, I know on the flip side, I just mentioned the Cowboys tying the Packers. A lot of people point out that the Cowboys offense has been outstanding. Javonte Williams has worked. George Pickens is having a special season. Dak Prescott has been great. But the Cowboys defense stinks. And I don't know what the story is in the Broncos and why they only seem to want to play in the fourth quarter. I don't understand what the bid is where they sleepwalk through 3 quarters and only bother to play in the fourth. But the Cowboys defense is the cure for a team that we know is capable of being really good and just hasn't been consistently really good. Give me the Cowboys as my lock loser against the Broncos. It's a small number. It's only 3.5. I love the Broncos in this spot. I do not buy into the Cowboys because their defense is awful.
Glenn, we'll talk. I'll be on part of your show tomorrow via Zoom tomorrow because you got a lot of guests booked.
And busy day.
That you had to pre-record. Apparently a lot of people don't like talking.
I don't know what it says.
But I did want to ask you, who do you agree with handled that situation better? Russell Wilson or Sean Payton?
It's really tough for me, Stan. We were talking about it the other day. I don't think that what Sean Payton said. Look, I think we all know what Sean Payton was feeling. There's an issue between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson.
Oh God! But remember he reamed him out on the sideline 2 years ago.
But what he actually said was really not that bad. And his argument today that he was really just talking about Jackson Dart, like you can read that, and if you don't know the history between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, 100%, it would just be they are clearly getting a spark from this kid. And we wish they would have waited a few weeks to make that move because they're a much better football team with this kid playing quarterback. And that doesn't have to be the reason why we're reading it a certain way is because we know the history between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. So did Sean Payton, do I think that he was trying to get something in on that? I do, because we know the history between the two. At the same time, I saw Mike Wilbon called him a classless bum. It's a little over the top for what he actually said. What he actually said,
but I'll tell you what,
that bad.
I've watched professional sports for a long time. Russell Wilson at one time in his career was a great player. Okay. I'm not saying that gives him a pass to say he's a great player all the time. But what I saw him do to him, and he had to know the cameras were going to pick it up. Yeah. I think Peyton is a classless bum. So that's my feeling on that.
It's an interesting, I still think that's a bit strong to say classless bum, but
I didn't say he's not a good coach,
Yeah.
But I thought that was
No,
really.
I didn't. I definitely thought it was over the top. I agree with that entirely. It was way over
Yeah,
the top. But this uniquely this week, I just
yeah.
don't think what he actually said was worthy of the over the top reaction we've given
Gotcha.
it.
Gotcha.
That's where I'm at.
All right. So I
You want
get
to?
1 point. I get 1 point back for
Oh,
saying
because
this
you think
class was
you won
fun.
the argument. You think this
Yeah.
is what's that show on Around the Horn? That's what this has
Yeah.
become.
That's what it is. Yes, it is.
You want to
All right.
recap?
That's going to, okay. Yes. Glenn Clark and I both like the Bears getting 6.5 against the mystery of the Baltimore Ravens 2025. We have no idea if Lamar Jackson is going to play, or if he does, how much he'll play. But we both feel that even if he plays, 6.5 with that Raven defense is way too much. We like the Bears. My lock winner is the Indianapolis Colts minus 14.5 at home versus the Tennessee Titans. Glenn is surprising us with a lock winner that's an underdog. He's taking the Pittsburgh Steelers getting 3 points at home versus the Green Bay Packers. My lock loser is the Cleveland Browns getting 7 points at New England. Glenn's lock loser is the Dallas Cowboys playing at Denver against a classless bum as the head coach.
Classless
Three and a half,
Sean Payton.
3.5 points plus 3.5 at Denver is his lock loser. We've been brought to you by the folks at Problem Gambling, 1-800-GAMBLER. By the way, I did an interview with Heather Eshelman, the new director of the program there, along with Ken Wolfson, who is a peer support specialist, which means that he's one of the people you get on the line with you to help you with your gambling problem. And he's suffered through severe addiction problems too. Great guy, great head on his shoulders. So I interviewed today. And we're also brought to you, Glenn, by
the Casa Sin, and of course the all-new Casa Sin now open at the Grandstand in Timonium. Stan, we will see you next week. Always appreciate it.
All right, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Zoom
Very good.
at 11 o'clock. Bye.